What up, what up, what up, everybody, on this Friday evening? My name is Clayton Anderson. I'm the host of the We Want Houston podcast. I also cover the Houston Texans for Tour Times of the Fansided Network. Shout out, man. I have a very special guest on Houston Texans finest, some of the finest content creation in the land. Check him out, man. Chief Content Officer at Woodhouse Media, also the host of the lead podcast, Mr. Harley Dugan. Harley, how you doing, man?
Thank you. You're far too kind. I appreciate it. But yeah, man, I'm doing just fine. Working, busy, trying to maintain daily content on my YouTube channel, as well as balancing the trials and errors of a small business owner.
Hey man, listen, you said a mouthful, man. Absolutely, bro. Small business entrepreneurship. I know that's tough in today's economy, so I get you, man. But hey, again, shout out to you, man. Thank you for even being on. I know this is a quick turnaround, but I
Yeah.
know you're doing great work. Again, shout out to what Harley does at Wheelhouse, right? Shout out, Eric Heisman, Brett Chansey. By the way, real quick, Brett Chansey, shout out H. Wheelhouse. Gifted me this right here, good old Astros. I don't even still know what to call this, a hoodie, a shirt. I know it's comfortable, old school Astros fit, got the hoodie. So yeah, appreciate that. But yeah, man, also, if you want evidence of Harley's work, go check out Houston Stresson's interview with Wyatt Teller. It's getting old a little bit now, but hey, pristine quality, great, takes yourself to the next level. So hit him up if you need some professional care in the media realm. So yeah, man, want to get out of the way. But we
Yeah.
got some Texans to talk about, man. We do. The streets were bustling yesterday, man. Traffic was horrible. That's how you know football is back, man. So the Houston Texans took on the Los Angeles Chargers. Unfortunately, they dropped the preseason game 127-7. Not a lot to go on there. A lot of bright spots that we're going to get into, but preseason game one, man, it's not the end of the world. It's not the Super Bowl. But, if you're going to drop preseason game one, you at least hope it's not get whooped by 20, right? But, just to kind of go through some of the stats. So, Texans had a 7-3 lead in the first quarter, but then the Chargers never looked back. They scored, what is this, 10 unanswered? Oh, I'm sorry, no. 24 unanswered to close the game out. We fell victim to Trey Lance and DJ Ugalele. Both those guys went off for over 100 yards plus. Trey Lance 164, DJ 120. DJ had the sole touchdown pass up for the Chargers. Trey Lance had an INT. And yeah, we had Davis Mills and Graham Mertz cooking. Davis Mills 9 for 15, 82 yards, averaged 5.5 for pass, one touchdown, got sacked twice, 97.1 passer rating. Graham Mertz, shout out to him. Unfortunately, reports, Harley, if you saw it, torn ACL, man. And that's kind of going to be where we're going to spin off to with this. So, man, Graham Mertz, yes, he's third string quarterback, but torn ACL, that's the second since 2024 at Florida. That's what ended his college career, for those who don't know. So, we praying for him. But Harley, man, what were your thoughts on just the game, everything happening in the Graham Mertz situation?
Yeah, first off, it absolutely sucked to see Mertz, get injured again. We just seen him with the knee brace last year. Training camp this year, no knee brace, and it just sucks. You don't want to see anybody get injured, but especially someone like Graham Mertz trying to fight for QB3 and trying to just continue his whatever his career could be in the NFL. That just overall that sucks. So I mean, that's now it's okay. Where did the Texans go from there? When it comes to just getting an emergency QB3 quarterback, like I think a lot of people are putting way too much time and effort into the conversation. Ultimately, 27-7 isn't a fun topic to talk about the day after, but I mean, the starters didn't play. I think some of the bigger takeaways was we got to see the offensive line. We got to see a a starting 5 unit minus Trent Brown.
Mm.
Trent Brown, who's been taking Team One reps at training camp. Um, Braden Smith didn't look so good, and I don't know where my concern is there on the meter yet. Got me a bit worried. Just like, interesting. That's not what I was expecting from Braden Smith. Not that I was expecting him to immediately, fall in and take the right tackle job, but I wasn't expecting him to, I guess, have some sort of lack of play regardless. But ultimately, you had a few bright spots here and there. Like Davis Mills looked amazing. in his beginning of the stint, until he filled in for Mertz. Didn't look so hot afterwards. uh, Jared Wayne looks really good. Uh, he has been everything as advertised when it comes to training camp as well too. So we got to see him out there. He had himself a touchdown in the game. Felt like he had a lot more receiving yards than only 17, I believe it was. So I mean, big target. I don't know where he lands on with this football team when it comes to the wide receiver group. But you also got to see 85 Joshua Kelly, who's performed well at training camp. Got to see Colin Wright here and there, made a play or two and kind of didn't. So mixed bag for him. Hopeful that it's first game as an undrafted rookie, but there's a lot of hype surrounding him and how he's performed at training camp. Rightfully so. He's looked amazing at training camp. Kamari Ramsey interception. I mean, that's my guy. That was one of my favorite draft picks for the Houston Texans this offseason. Love, big fan of Kamari Ramsey and what he could ultimately bring for the Texans. Some dropped interceptions, some bad tackling, some what felt like lack of aggression when it came to the linebackers for this Texans team. When I'm looking at Team 3 as well, specifically, I know a lot of fans. I got a lot of comments like, "Oh man, our depth looks horrible." This or that. Overreaction. I don't really care. The starters play? No? Okay. If I have Aiden Fisher starting at linebacker, there's a problem. I mean, sure, do I care? Yes. But the percentage is possibly less than 15% in the amount of cares I give a shit about. So, why can't I hear you? Yeah, just give me 1 second.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's me. That's me. Yep, there you go. Audio
Yeah.
was out. Sorry, people. Look, hey, we live, man. Things happen. It's
Yeah.
all right. I don't know what happened, but oh, by the way, shout out everybody who's watching YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, right over here. So there you go. Just make sure everybody knows what's going on. But yeah, man. So a lot of good, some negatives, but it's okay, right? It's the first preseason game. We're not falling off a cliff yet, but if you ask social media along the way, a lot of people have already made their determinations about certain guys. So, but we're going to get to that. But to kind of backtrack a bit, so Lance Zierlein, our guy, right? He said this. This was in response to the Graham Mertz information. So he said this around 8 o'clock this morning. With the Graham Mertz likely out for the year with ACL tear, the Texans need a third string quarterback ASAP to take snaps, of course. So Stroud and Mills don't have to take on big snap counts. He mentioned Jimmy Garoppolo, who has some experience with Nick Haley, with in New England and with the Rams. Brett Ripien played for the Rams in 2023 during Kaylee's
Mhm.
last season, so there's some overlap there. And Trevor Simeon, 33 career starts, would be capable of learning quickly, eating up snaps in games and functioning as QB3 on the roster. So Harley, I'm gonna ask you, man, if you had to choose Jimmy, Brett, Trevor, which one of those three guys, if any of those, do you think the Texans could or should bring in to fill that QB3 spot?
Let's see. I go and find the penny somewhere on the street. I flip it, and whatever it lands on, congratulations, you're quarterback three. Um, I I don't really. I guess I would phrase it like this: I don't really care who quarterback three is, but what I
Mm-hmm.
can see the Houston Texans doing is potentially signing Brett Ripien. He already has, some um, knowledge of what the playbook might could be with his previous work with Nick Haley. Um, and I don't know this, and I could be wrong here, but if Clayton Tune isn't signed, I believe he worked out with the Texans,
Yeah,
um,
he did.
and,
He did.
and so I mean that's somebody that's right there in your backyard essentially that could again QB3. Like this isn't. I don't think it's a big topic of conversation that needs to be hammered home. I know a lot of people on Twitter were like really going nuts about it. I think we're just a little football horny, and we got some news football wise, and we were like, yeah, let's talk about it. And so honestly, I think I could see the Texans go after Brett Ripien.
Mhm.
Jimmy Garoppolo, it just doesn't feel right that he's a quarterback three somewhere. He's always been like a backup somewhere. But
Mhm.
who entirely knows?
Yeah, I understand. I want to say I even saw somebody float the idea of maybe the Texans flipping a late round pick over to Indianapolis and getting AR5. So, I mean,
Wow.
hey, I don't know, man. Like I don't know. It's out there, bro. Like you said, the fervor is high, right? Like, look, from my end, I wrote about this a little bit ago. My perspective of this is less about just Mertz and more about, I go back to May, right? EJ
Hmm.
Speed, um,
Yeah.
Hanson. Oh my goodness, I'm blanking on the first name. Jake Hanson. There you go.
Jake
Jake
Hansen.
Hanson,
Yes.
EJ Speed, British Brooks now, and Graham Mertz, right? I'm more so looking at this from a macro, like, okay, right? The Texans had a fairly healthy season last year outside of the anomalies and Joe and Tank and the concussions from Stroud and whatnot. Like,
Yeah.
outside of those, we kind of got away with a healthy year. My thing is, I would hate to have missed a potential Super Bowl berth, right? Being as close as we were, and now you kind of see the bill come due on a lot of these injuries. And I guess my biggest thing is they're happening before the season even starts, right? That kind of
Hmm.
thing. So we're not even like out of the gate yet. So that kind of is making me nervous. I look around the rest of the NFL and guys like Chase Basantis with the Cardinals, he's out
Mm.
torn MCL for the year. Larry Tunsil, he torn pec, I want to say, right? So he's
Yeah. Something
gone.
like that.
So it's several key dudes, right? And yeah, we've avoided the big injuries right now, but it's just something to pay attention to, man. So at some point, I know QB3, a lot of bottom of the barrel guys, we're not really thinking that much about, but those injuries and those depth guys do add up when you don't have them. So, again, hope the best for Graham Mertz, man. I hope this isn't the last we see of him in a Texans uniform. I don't know for sure, but I mean, two torn ACLs in a 2 year span, it's kind
It's
of kind of
tough.
tough, man. That's tough.
Yeah,
Um,
especially mentally. I hope he's doing well mentally. I mean, I know an injury could take a toll not just on your body physically, but mentally as well too. And for someone in his stature, two injuries like that in 5 years, like you mentioned, I mean, mentally, man, that could
yeah,
mess with you really, really bad. So yeah, I hope he's
yeah,
doing
man,
well.
absolutely. But speaking of mental, want to talk about another guy who probably has had to deal with a colossal mental block. A guy who most of us know this man from 2024 and essentially being a part of one of the most devastating moments in Texans recent history. That would be Mr. Jared Wayne, right? A guy who has had to fight through a lot, has only made a few appearances for the Texans, like a total of four, I believe, one start, two receptions for 20 yards kind of deal, right? But as of late, Harley, he's been kind of bubbling up and percolating in camp. If you've been there, he's been making play after play. And you could argue at first, like, oh, it's because Tank's not there, and that's because this guy's not there, Noel's not there. So, you got to have camp bodies. But that was until yesterday when Jerry Wayne did this to a Chargers defensive back. I got it right here. Hopefully, we don't get copyrighted, but he did this on a fade ball from Mills.
Mm,
Give me that.
mm,
Give me that. And I'm going to run it again just so that people can see, right? I got it up kind of quick. Mills drops back. Gimme, boom, comes down with it, throws the ball down. And if it just seems like that reception, that ball throw, even the teammates, it seems like just, I don't know, maybe just me reaching a bit, but just like relief, right? Like even if it's in a preseason game, like he hasn't got a chance to do that at all. A guy who had a phenomenal final season in Michigan and just kind of not being able to catch on anywhere. And the fact that he's doing this, right, and percolating in camp and now proved it, stamped it on the first drive, giving the Texans that lead that we eventually gave up. But still, like it looked great, big body. And now, Harley, I'll ask you this, man. Jared Wayne doing this, is he forcing the coaches to have to consider him for either wide receiver six or pushing to keep seven receivers?
yeah, I was trying to remember off the top of my head how many receivers they kept last year, which I believe was, I wanted to say six, if I'm not mistaken. In last year's roster, which had like Braxton Berrios and Justin Watson was also there, and Kirk. Then you had Nico, Xavier Hutchinson, and feels like someone else there. Um, that I'm possibly, and Jaden Higgins, and Jalen Noel.
Mhm.
Anyway, yeah, Jesus.
About
I
to
mean,
say, can't forget
it's
them.
this is gonna be it's gonna be tough, man. I'm for real. Look, I understand. Fans feel a certain way when you say the name Jared Wayne. I get it.
Yes. Yes.
Tank
I
Dell
still
is
do. I'm not
beloved
gonna lie
here
to
in
you. I still do.
Houston. Yeah,
No, it's fine.
yeah, right. Tank Dell's beloved here in Houston. Uh, Tank Dell is essentially, as of right now, Tank Dell is like one of, if Toro's numero uno in mascots here in Houston, like Tank Dell is right up there in mascots here in Houston, because that's what he's been for a while. Fans love him. Anytime he's out there, no pads, just shirt and shorts. Everyone's screaming Tank Dell at training camp.
Just
And
emotion.
yeah, and I mean, obviously he played at UH, go Cougs, and so hey, whose house? So Big Tank, I mean, he even mentioned it himself. He addressed it. He was asked with it. He mentioned there's no hard feelings. He talked to Jared Wayne, mentioned, and I quote, "It's football," which that's what it is.
Mhm.
It's football. Now I have my funny joke that I call Jared Wayne on my YouTube channel the kneecap killer, with a kneecap killer. End of the day, Jared Wayne is balling.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
you might hate it, you might despise it, but I'm telling you who's loving it. It's the Houston Texans. Like,
Mhm.
Jared Wayne, 6'2", 6'3", out of Pittsburgh, has gotten better, and he's looked really good so far. Even in training camp, I was like, man, do I really need to tweet out that Jared Wayne is playing well? Like,
Yeah.
oh crap, he keeps making plays. It's not just a fluke. Okay. Yeah, let me tweet this out. Jared Wayne's legit, man. And he is
Mhm.
gonna push to get on this roster. And I'm telling you right now, if he doesn't make this roster, there's gonna be a few other teams around the NFL that are gonna be peeking and peeping over there and looking like, huh, Jared Wayne not gonna make their roster. We could use another, maybe a wide receiver 4 or 5 on the depth chart, and just add some
Mhm.
more depth for somebody. I think Jared Wayne could be a viable depth piece to anybody's wide receiver group, especially the Texans, considering the injury to Tank Dell, now obviously back, but Nico Collins with his injury history as well too. Um, you have Jalen Noel just getting nicked up. Don't want to see that again, obviously, but again, these are things that you keep in mind. You don't forget injuries when it comes to your players for the Texans or anybody's favorite NFL team. And so, look, Jared Wayne is making his case. Lewis Bond looked solid in preseason, in game one, but Jared Wayne, I thought, looked really, really good. And I kind of want to see some more. Like, if I'm being
Mhm.
totally honest, I want to see some more in game action of Jared Wayne.
Hey, I agree. I look, man. I think for Wayne, I'm happy for him because he has one of those rare opportunities to really wash away a lot of that bitter taste. I know, like you said, a lot of people probably are not rooting for this man, but look, it happens. It's football. Like heck, even what is it? The Colts coach. I don't know his name, but if you saw the footage, he got rolled up on by multiple NFL players. Now he got some torn ligaments. So what is he gonna do? Is he gonna hold grudges against those guys and like, forget you guys? Like it happens,
That's what it
man.
is.
Like
Yeah.
and honestly, it's amazing it doesn't happen more. That's really kind of the thing. So, we got a Brandon shout out. Brandon, he says this Titans would steal Wayne so fast. Talking about the same team that snatched up Ali freaking Gay. Hey man, listen, that hey, could
I can
happen.
see that.
Yeah, man. Look, I was kind of thinking of teams now. I don't know if the Cardinals will want him. I don't know what's going on with
Mhm.
Marvin Harrison, but there's that. I'm thinking of San Francisco. They stay hurt, so they might. It's a few
Mhm.
teams, man. Well, actually, I forgot. Yeah, deep. Not Debo, but Ayukan situation. So you probably
Yeah.
want a receiver who's going to be grateful for the opportunity. So there's that. So, but yeah, man. No, I'm happy that Wayne is playing his way into potential future playing time. So we're definitely looking forward to that. Probably in game two. I think that if he goes off in game two, I think you really got a tough decision to make. I think if he like, let's say if he takes over a drive, let's say if it's one of those kind of deals where I mean he's just like, get off me, you're a little boy, I'm a grown man, like that kind of thing. Then yeah, like you kind of all right, man. You might have to keep seven because I'm not moving Bond off of that ledge for Jared Wayne. I think they both can make it. And I think if anybody misses out, Justin Watson, maybe. I know he's a trusted vet. I know he does versatile things, but again, like you want the most proficient seven that you can get. And if
Yeah.
you can get enough production in special teams, especially, which we're going to talk about Bond in a second on that, then of course. And speaking of special teams, we saw Lewis Bond. While the stats did not show it, Lewis Bond, like you said, he was solid. He showed some versatility, some willingness to participate in special teams. That's what a lot of people had. I don't want to say concerns, but thoughts about like, okay, if he's going to be wide receiver 6 or make the roster, being a rookie out of Boston College, he's got to do that, right? Frank Ross, that's his thing. He's got to participate, which he did. So if nothing else, no, there were no touchdowns. There was some contested catching by Bond, so good job to that. But outside of that, we just saw versatility and a willingness to do different things to get on the field. And for that, I commend Lewis Bond because, again, the more that you're willing to do, the more likely it is you will stay on the field. Moving on from that. So, another guy we mentioned. Oh, I'm sorry. And by the way, let me correct myself. I'm so sorry. I got to check myself. So, I said that Wayne was out of Michigan. Fact check me on that. Harley corrected me. Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
So, sorry about that. He's out of Pitt. Did not mean to say that. So, shout out Pitt. Sorry. Don't want to take your guys away. Okay. Don't send me nasty letters. But one guy I know about for sure, USC, Kamar Ramsey, fifth rounder, our guy. I was at the game, man, and I saw him drop a Christmas gift of an interception. Like he ran step for step. Like when they say ran the receiver's route, that's exactly what he did. And I don't know what Trey Lance was looking at, but it was like, oh, thank you. And he just dropped it, right? And then Kamar Ramsey, he made up for it by doing this a couple minutes later.
Yep.
Boom. Near the goal, near the red zone, 40 yards, hyping up with his guys. Yep, and I remember that. He's so excited. Right. So there you go. So he made up for it with about a couple minutes left in the second half. So I mean the first half, I'm sorry. But Kamar Ramsey, and funny enough, Harley, he was not really seen as like a ball hawk necessarily at USC. He
Hmm.
really wasn't. Just a versatile guy. Can cover, right? Be physical, but did not have the raw ball hawking numbers. The man almost had three. Right. So Harley, what do you think about that, man? Like in just a glut of the Jalen Smiths, Jalen Reed. Now you got Kamar Ramsey popping. Colin Wright we talked about. He's nursing injury, but still he's been mentioned. Like, what do you now think about Kamar Ramsey's chances of being like a depth guy who makes his team?
Yeah, I think he does make this team, and I'm a big fan of Kamari Ramsey. He's what, fifth round, 141st pick.
Yep.
Ran a 4.47 at USC. I mean, and again, the Texans continuing to dip into the USC secondary with
Yep.
Kalen Bullock. Then you have Jalen Smith last year, and now Kamari Ramsey this, or I mean, Jalen Smith what, 2 years ago, and then Kamari Ramsey this year. So
Hmm.
there we go. But I mean, I was a fan of Kamari Ramsey. I mean, he was a playmaker too at USC, and lots of plays, regardless of him being a ball hawk or not. Like he was always around the football, and the way
Hmm.
he carries himself, according to like people around the team, is he's a very quiet individual, and he kind of is just reserved, and he's a little to himself. I mean, I mess with it. The Houston Texans, since Nick Casario has stepped in, and especially since D'Amico stepped in, like, how do you not have all the confidence in the world that they're going to be able to draft another secondary person, whether it be cornerback or safety or whoever it is? Like, there is so much confidence in what they can do when it comes to, manufacturing good players in the secondary. Yeah, Derek Stingley, Nick Casario, but Kamari Lassiter, Casario, D'Amico, you got Kalen Bullock, same thing. You've had multiple corners, whether it be safeties, whether it be Eric Murray, who was doo doo, and then D'Amico Ryans comes in here, sprinkles his pixie dust, turns him around, gets him a contract. MJ Stewart, not a fan. With D'Amico, I'm a big fan. Figuring out Jalen Petrie and his usage and how to correctly, implement him as your just shining wizard on defense. Kamari Ramsey, who can do a little bit of everything. Curious to see, you know, what his role could be. I don't think he's going to have a big role this year on this Texans defense, at least, knock
Hmm.
on wood. But I mean, if his number is called on, I could see him making plays. Him getting the interception doesn't necessarily shock me too much. And if
Hmm.
anything, when he's playing around the rest of this defense, and ladies and gentlemen, no starters, okay? Like, this wasn't Stingley's not out there with Lassiter, Caleb Bullock, and you got your Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson rushing and Clowney. Like, No, no. Imagine when all that's out there and you got someone else roaming besides, you know, uh, Reed Blankenship. Maybe he needs a breather or something. And, hi, Kamari Ramsey. Why don't you just come on in and do your thing as well too? The secondary is just amazing here with the Texans, and again, to me, by far the best secondary in the NFL.
Look, the Texans need to go ahead and copyright DBU, except at the NFL level.
For
Nick
real.
Casario for all the criticism that he takes, man, in other parts of the team, and sure, rightfully so sometimes, but man, the man knows how to build a secondary. I, of course,
Hmm.
credit Matt Burke, credit D'Amico Ryan's, credit the defensive side of the ball. I don't want to make it seem like it's just Nick, but
Dino Vasso, man,
Dino
DB's
Vasso,
coach.
man,
He's going to get
right,
a
man.
DC position sometime soon. It's going to
Yeah,
suck.
man. I know it's gonna hurt. I know. So you just hope that you glean as much as you can and that you just try to preserve. Enjoy this while you have it, Texans fans. Because that's how you know that you're a great team, a great infrastructure. When teams come calling, knocking on your door and plucking your guys, you're doing something
Hmm.
right. And you just hope that you have done enough to retain where you can bring guys in who maybe fit the same mold as Dino or some, not that much different, keep the gravy train rolling. But
Yeah.
yeah, man. Like right now, I think it's inarguable at this point. You have the best collection of secondary pieces in franchise history. Like I don't think you can argue that. You have all pros, multiple Pro Bowlers. You have ball hawks everywhere. Like when they say stuff like there's only one ball in sports, like, and I feel that, but reverse, where it's like it's only one ball for the offense. So if you throw that ball up, one of five guys is probably going to come down with that ball. So it doesn't matter who it is. Like, and the thing is, all of them want to try to score, right? So it's like
Mhm.
that's anyway. But it's just it's exciting times. It's great to have a secondary like that. It's great to be that deep and have layers of players. So that's awesome. So shout out Kamari. Shout out Jalen Smith, Jalen Reed. Shout out all those guys like just for doing what they're doing. Jalen Petrie and the like. Shout out Kevin Bullock. I got him trying to go for an All Pro this year. So, oh my
Mm.
goodness, it's just beautiful. But yeah, man. So outside of that, I mean, you kind of mentioned it as we kind of gonna go into this next segment. I want to try out. We mentioned Kalen Rutledge. We mentioned offensive line configuration. We mentioned, well, we didn't mention Noah Whittington, how he got some carries. I want to say he led both teams in carries with, let me pull it up here, 13 carries for 40 yards. So he got some run. He looked nice, physical in between the tackles. I would like to have seen a little bit more, but I mean, again, like if you're not getting that much push, then what to expect. But outside of that, though, man, I mean, now it's kind of time to kind of dive into a lot of the narratives that naturally come as a result of this kind of thing, right? If you go through social media, you see a lot of crazy stuff. And it inspired me to try this segment with my guy, Harley Dugan. He's the inaugural participant in this segment that we're going to call, hold on.
Like, are we swarming or not?
So basically, are we swarming or not? Basically, it's like not a true or false thing, but it's like we're going to talk about hot takes around the Houston Texans fan base media circuit. And we're going to talk about it. Is the idea swarming or not? Do we legitimize this with a conversation or is it trash? Right. So, Harley, you ready for this?
Oh,
All right, man.
absolutely, absolutely.
All right, let's do it. So, first off, Davis Mills.
Like, are we swarming or not?
Is Davis Mills showing you that he's the better of the two quarterbacks between him and CJ Stroud? You knew this was coming. I want to do this first to get this one just out of the way. What are your thoughts
Yeah,
on that narrative, sir?
we not swarming, man. We are not swarming to that idea. Look, I will say this: Davis played well in his time last year when stepping in, and then preseason played well for stepping in. If teams were interested, believe me, if they were interested, and why wouldn't they be? Like, this is the guy that can, according to some, could start around in the NFL. Like, sure, he might be able to battle Geno Smith with the Jets. I think that's a viable spot for him. I think he could battle out a position over there with Arizona, and Jacoby Brissett. I could kind of see that. Does he win any of these starting jobs? I have no clue. It's not like he's head and shoulders above these guys either. Again, if he was, someone would have thrown a fourth round pick. Like, by all means, all 31 NFL teams, if you want him for a fourth round pick, believe me, I would have said go ahead and do it. Losing Mertz, all right, I'll keep him. Now we're getting into a rich high fourth round pick or someone's third round pick. Then okay, but see now that's just me overvaluing Davis Mills and entering the Madden trade simulator. Like it's just the the scenario around Mills potentially being better than Stroud. Look, he's a backup quarterback for a reason. He's a solid backup quarterback. He stepped in. He did well. Thank you for your service. Now go back and go give me my Gatorade bottle and my clipboard
Mm,
whenever I ask for it. That's what I need you to do.
dang. So listen, dang. Well, hey, drop the mic, right? So look, shout out Stephanie Stradley. And real quick, we're gonna let in Ryan and Coach McGinnis. We have a fantasy football section coming a little bit after this. We're gonna let him in, let him hop in. Coach, what's going on, Coach? Welcome back, man. So hey, we're doing a segment on swarming or not. So I'm glad you're here, so you can kind of listen in. And if you have a little bit to contribute, also, we'll queue you up. So you good with it?
Absolutely, man. Y'all excited? We got football, man.
I am
Absolutely.
excited.
Yeah, man. Listen, you can tell by the traffic. The city's excited, man. I was exhausted by the time I got home, but hey, man, it's good to go. But yeah, man. So we're doing swarming or not, meaning we're gonna hit you with a hot take, and you just tell us is the idea swarming or not? Are we entertaining it or not? So we just finished on the Davis Mills not being better than CJ Stroud thing. We're not going to beat that horse. It's already dead. We've made glue of it, resurrected it, beat it again. We're not doing that, right? I like what Harley said, which was in spots when you needed Davis, he did his job, and I'm happy for him because he showed that he could win you sometimes and not turn the ball over and be safe. That's what you want from a high level backup quarterback to low end starter. But that's about it. Like he's not going to elevate anywhere. He's had years to do it. Excuse me, and in multiple times. I hate this part because you don't want to seem like you're raining on his parade or hating on him. But against the Titans and against the Bills, like he showed you his limitations. He showed you in second halves that when teams make slight adjustments, you can neutralize Davis Mills. So and then it's low key, by the way, he kind of gets away with some bad throws that just don't get picked off. So I don't want to go down that road, but we know who Davis is. I love Davis Mills. If the Texans hoist a Lombardi this season, he will be a part of the history that you have to learn alongside a TJ Yates and a Case Keenum, right?
Good Lord.
But he's going to be part of the story, but he's not the story, and I don't think he wants to be that. I think he knows who he is, and I think he's happy with what he's there to do. So there you go. Anyway,
One of the better backups in the league. I mean, honestly.
sure, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. I bet the Jets could use him anyway. But yeah. Next up, Harley and Coach Marlin Klein.
Like, are we swarming or not?
Are we swarming on the idea that Marlin Klein, after his 30-yard catch to open up the drive and his little finger wave like this, with D'Amico raving about him with what he's been doing in camp, has he played his way to tight end too?
You want to start that, coach, or
Yeah, man. So you know, you've got to applaud Nick because he has drafted a tight end every draft, every draft.
Mhm.
I've been saying it for a while. He's looking for the next Gronk, and I don't know. The kid looks good. He's big. He's exciting. I heard a couple interviews with him. I'm starting to buy in, guys. I don't know if you've got a dynasty league, he might be somebody's stash.
Okay,
yeah,
Harley,
yeah,
what you got, man?
yeah. I'm swarming, man. I'm swarming with this one. You know, I'm a I like Marlon Klein, and
Mhm.
initially when the Texans drafted him, I was like, that's a bit of a reach. I'm also not the kind of guy to immediately downplay the player, like just because it's a reach. Like unless it's just Darius Hayward Bay in the first round, like
Mhm.
that was just ridiculous. And there's plenty of Raiders first round picks we could go with reaches. But I do like the idea that Nick Casario's searching for his Moby Dick, right? And a la
Mhm.
Gronk, right? And that's what it is. So I mean, Marlon Klein, like you take a look at him in training camp, there's a play here and there. And I thought the biggest thing we saw was his seam touchdown pass from Davis Mills in training camp, where I was like,
Mhm.
that's something different. Dalton Schultz is very much kind of like a possession tight end.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. He can
Yes.
move the chains. He could give me 6 yards, 7 yards, and that's awesome. But Marlon Klein, I mean, come on. down the seam 30 yards. I'm like, ooh. And then he throws a little this action at me. I'm like, big dog, where has this guy been the whole time? I like this guy. He gave me CJ Fedorowicz kind of vibes for my Texans fans out
Mm,
there. Shout out to the Iowa Hawkeye. But hopefully his career does not end in concussions like him. Knock on wood.
mm.
But I'm excited to see more of Marlin Klein, and that's where I'm swarming with this take because I want to see a lot more of this guy. I wanted to see more snaps than what we got from him. So yeah, I'm swarming with Marlon Klein right now.
Us
Yeah,
too.
listen, look, I will raise both my hands. People in social media world don't come after me. I listen, I already know. I made multiple articles, I have made multiple videos about this. Marlon Klein was the guy that when he was drafted and he was there with Cade McDonald and Keelan Rutledge, and then they followed up with Marlon Klein. I was like, who? Right? I
Yeah.
just didn't know. Like I really didn't. I was looking at Stowers and Sadiq and all these Delp and all these other guys, all these other fits. And for him to kind of come in 6'6", 250, right? Michigan didn't really stand out on the stat sheet, you know. But to see him, first of all, and go into camp on Saturday, that's a big human being. That dude is built like a tank. That is a large person right there. And just he came out, was hyping up the crowd. Like he has the
Yeah.
personality, he has the charisma, he has the attitude of like, hey, I'm bigger than you, right? And that was my biggest thing. It's like, don't just be a big dude, right? Like be a big dude and let people know that you're big. And the fact that he'll give you a little bit of that, like just to let you know about it, like, hey, yeah, I did that to you. Like, that's what I want to see. And if he can be that guy, and as well as, of course, being a blocker, being physical, being involved in the other parts of the game, you're talking about a 3 to 4 down player, like to really pair with Dalton Schultz. And eventually, when Dalton Schultz, if and when he transitions out, you might have your tight at one. And heck, you might have, and see, here's where I don't want to go out on this ledge. But shout out to the GOAT, Owen Daniels. But dare I say, you might have a guy who could maybe at least on the stats push an Owen Daniels. Could he exceed a Dalton Schultz? You never know, but you can say this is probably one of the most physically imposing at the position that you've had. So who knows? We'll see early, but he's making a believe out of a lot of people, including myself. So move.
One more thing, Harley, you nailed it, man. Ripping the seam. That's what it's about. We haven't had that
Yes.
in Houston,
Yes.
and he's going to give you that with that big body. I like it.
And shout out the O line. They gave Davis Mills a good pocket to get that pass off. Beautiful, beautiful throw. It was there. Next up, Caden McDonald.
Like, are we swarming or not?
Harley, coach. I went back to the all 22. Caden McDonald did a good enough job. He was solid. He didn't, and I'm nitpicking a bit, but he did not like really penetrate through the middle like I kind of was looking for. Maybe that's me expecting too much. But he held up. He walled up. He was not pushed around. Like he made it a stalemate. And I think that's good enough for what you want to know. But Harley, I'm gonna ask you this, man. Based off of the excitement, based off where he's drafted, based off kind of the little breadcrumbs you have of Caden McDonald, is he starting day one over the likes of maybe a Sheldon Rankins or Tommy T?
And no, and that's not to like downplay Caden McDonald and where you drafted him. I'm definitely swarming on Caden McDonald. Uh, but I mean that doesn't mean like this is going to be a rotational defensive line regardless, especially the
Mm-hmm.
DTs. It's always been a rotation, and in the inclusion of Mario Edwards, we saw Naquan Jones make some really good plays at the end
He
of that
did.
preseason game as well too. And like, hey, don't forget about me. Like I did some
Yeah.
stuff last year at the end of the year when y'all got me. I could do some stuff. Oh, hey, how you doing? Awesome. So Caden McDonald, look, I still think, I mean, he's making this football team, obviously, but
Sure.
I mean, he's doing exactly what I need him to do. Like, yeah, I could be a little greedy and be like, yeah, I'd take a pressure or get, you know, penetrate into try to get to the quarterback sometimes and whatnot, and get some TFLs on the RB. But honestly, with everyone else around them, I got Rankins, I got Waj, I got Daniil Hunter, I got Clowney every once in a while, Tommy T every once in a while. Do your thing, big fella. Go hit the showers, my guy. You did
Yep.
yourself a good job, my guy. You
Yep.
go Stonewall, plug up two guys. That's what I need you to do. And that's all I need you to do. I need you to be the putty. You just, boom, we just put you right there. We're done.
Big Putty.
We're done.
That's the Big
Waj and
Putty.
Daniil, y'all go eat. The big fella, Big Rook gonna do his thing.
Need to make that a shirt. Stressing to get on a Big Putty. There you go.
I,
Coach,
I
you
agree.
swarming or not, man?
I agree with both you guys. It's hard to gauge a defensive tackle's performance because there's no stats for it, you know. But that's exactly right. I mean, you're taking two O linemen out. He was hustling to the ball even when it wasn't directed his way.
Mm,
So I mean, that's all you can ask for. I saw D'Amico kind of disappointed about the defense in his interview. So it was first one. Maybe they didn't go all out. It was a home game, wasn't it? Yeah, we played here, didn't
yep,
we?
was. Yep.
It's preseason. It's hard to get upset about it, but I like the fact the coach is already kind of, chirping at the best defense in the league. Like, come on, what are y'all doing, man? So it's going to be exciting this year, and he's going to be a big part of it. I agree. And they're going to rotate. And I mean, there's, like you said, Harley, there's 6 guys that can rotate out there and not miss a beat.
Yeah. And real quick, this was not on the rundown, but I'll throw this in here. So you did see the name Derek Barnett come up again. People are circulating that, hey, why not bring in Derek Barnett at DN4? Right? Somebody said it specifically. It's a bit of overkill, but they said that they weren't impressed with maybe some of the depth options that you have. But any commentary on maybe DB at 4? So that means you'd have a 1 through 4 of Will, Daniil, JD, and DB. That would you take a shot if he's willing to come back? Would you bring him?
It's all about attitude, man. If they bring that attitude, yeah, why not?
You know what? I I would have said no, honestly. Like I feel like it's a no. But who cares? Let's bring him in. Give me the Thanos glove. Maybe he's the last gemstone I need on that damn glove. Like, who cares? We're building the best defense we could possibly create. If Derek Burnett's coming back on a 1 year, $3 million deal, buddy, hey, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, I know we signed Clowney, but don't worry about it. We'll get you
Yeah.
some rotational snaps in there. I mean, I like Dylan Horton,
Yeah.
Solomon Bird. Beginning felt really cool, and then it kind of just tailed off at the end there. But I
Yeah.
mean, you still did Logan Hall play in this game?
I can't recall. I'm not gonna lie to
I
you. I
can't
cannot
recall
recall.
either, and I feel like he didn't. And so that's just another rotational edge piece,
Yeah.
another tweener between DT and DN that you have there that I don't think he played, at least in my honest opinion.
Mm.
But regardless, like I don't really need Barnett, but screw it. Let's keep adding more to the defense.
Look, the Seattle Seahawks, the what are they called now? Not what are they? The dark side defense, I think.
Nah,
They signed Terry Arnold, right? Like
don't
they
blame him.
finished as a right. They finished as the best scoring defense in the NFL, asterisk, right? But they finished that way and they got Terry on. So, look, if a guy wants to come to your organization, you have the cap space, and if he fits a need, which he necessarily would, I mean, I wouldn't mind it, right? He can be there in emergency option, but I don't mind more talent. I will never mind more talent coming. And Nick Casario, he can make it happen. But let's do this before we transition into some fantasy talking. Harley, you good to stay on some fantasy football, man?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Cool, awesome, man. All right, I'm excited for this, man, because I want to see if I can win my league. But last but not least,
Like, are we swarming or not?
Colin Wright. Training camp standout Colin Wright has been making plays left and right, from Derek Stingley to D'Amico Ryans. Everyone has said he's just a ball hawk. He's around the ball. He just does things. Sean Pendergast, shout out to those guys. 6'10" to 95.7. And by the way, I know this is off topic, but that transition is beautiful. Like that. I don't know if for those in the city who don't know about this, so Sports Radio 610 has transitioned to FM radio. And when they market crystal clear, that is what they mean, right? Like it's like never washing your ears ever in life, and then all of a sudden you just boop, and just you hear like it's beautiful. So I want to hear that rock and roll from Mark Vandermeer on Sundays in that kind of VFX surround sound kind of studio thing they got going on. So credit to those guys. Anyway, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Colin Wright, though, training camp standout, did not have the most impactful preseason game. Want to say he's dealing with a soft tissue. I don't know if it's a hammy, but soft tissue right now. They're kind of monitoring, but I guess insult to injury, didn't really have the best game. But Harley, coach, let me ask you this question: swarming or not on the idea that this preseason game combined with his soft tissue injury has that cost him a positional spot as a depth cornerback, or are we still good on Colin Wright?
Wow. Coach, you want to start that one?
Man, this is a tough one. The depth is there,
Yeah.
and they're going to have to make some decisions. Um, and look, if you can't play, we can't judge a performance. He may be on the way out, so I'm not swarming.
Hey, said not swarming.
Unfortunately,
Hey.
Yeah, if you asked me this before preseason game one, I would have been like, dude, I'm swarming on Colin Wright. Like from what I saw at training camp, the dude seems like an outside chance to now this guy might make the roster. After the first game, uh, eh, I'm gonna hope that it was his first game as an undrafted rookie, and I'm gonna hope that maybe the nerves got up to him,
Mm,
especially being from Manville, Texas, being home here. Definitely, he probably had some family watching him, so I could expect maybe some nerves, but I gotta agree with Coach, man. I'm not swarming with him right now. I mean, the special teams play, you got to wrap up and tackle him like you had him. And I understand how he slowed him down, and Aiden Fisher got it. And yes, it's a it's a good play. It's a solid play. Better play would have been you tackled and wrapped him up, and you got up and slapped your helmet, and you're a badass. Okay, I like this dude. But no, missed tackle. But okay, other one we saw him miss time a jump. Like could have
yeah,
led to really really bad circumstance there. Like, so, but he's an undrafted rookie at the too. I think our expectations are have gotten higher with him due to the hype surrounding training camp. At the end of the day,
yeah.
he's still an undrafted rookie, and he still has a lot to learn. I appreciate all the training camp and in practice to the game. That's what we step for him. He does that, then we're going.
Right. Yeah. I mean, look, it sucks, man. I hate to even have formed the question that way because I don't want to make it seem like you have one hiccup or have one injury, you're out of the door. But the NFL is a very cutthroat league sometimes, unfortunately. Sometimes it's all about timing. And you got to play. You got to put it on tape, as the Texans say. You don't want to just be a shirt and shorts warrior. You don't want to just be a training camp guy. You want, like, again, like Jared Wayne, like Marlin Klein, you want to elevate once the lights are brightest. You want to show and stamp like, hey, what you saw in camp is exactly who I am, and it's not just I'm in practice, right? It sucks that the double whammy on this with the soft tissue thing, because again, that could hamper him even more. Whatever the issue was the first time, it was not injury related, but now you add that on, it's like, so look, I don't want to make a final determination on Colin Wright. He's been doing an excellent job. He's got votes of confidence from everybody. It's just timing wise, and just we talked about it with Kamari, how deep you are in the secondary. Like it just you still got to see from Jalen Smith and Jalen Reed. You still got Kamari Ramsey. You got versatile dudes who can play some nickel, can play corner. Heck, Elijah Huzzy. I forgot to mention him. Like guys
Oh
like
yeah,
that,
wow.
man, who are hungry, who are there, who are healthy, and it just bad time. So you can if worst case scenario, you can probably try to stash him on the practice squad. I'm kind of nervous there because again, like you said earlier, people peep and teams are like, hey, we'll take a chance on that. We'll sign him, and we're good. And then they bring him on. So that would hurt my heart. It would hurt my heart. A Missouri City native getting snatched up because of a pop soft tissue. That would suck so bad. But hey, that's the NFL. So, but it's not our job. That's why we're sitting here podcasting. We're not on the sidelines. That's not our job. Um, so there you go. But speaking of what is our job, Coach, man, I'm glad you're here. So Harley, I was excited for this. Fantasy Fridays, man. So look, I'm a sleeper user. I've used Yahoo before. I've used ESPN. I'm a sleeper user. A shout out Texanico at Texanico. He got me in the league. keeper league. Got my lineup ready to go. And yeah, man, I've seen a lot of crazy stuff, and I've been thinking about my guy Coach because he has just a lot of information. He's a vet, multi-time league winner, so I need his expertise. But Coach, man, lead us in, brother, on Fantasy Friday, the inaugural edition.
Well, I appreciate that, Clayton. Yeah, 25 years, just the same as as the Texans. So I've been playing fantasy football and watched the old man calculate it on Tuesday, the old-fashioned way, looking at the
Oof.
Sunday paper with a calculator. It's the best game that you can play with all sports sitting on the couch. So we're going to talk a little draft strategy because it's draft time. And look, draft is also the best part about fantasy football. You get to get with old friends. It's an annual deal. Maybe you go play some golf, go bowling, whatever it is. It's just fantastic. It's wonderful. We get together and we actually have kind of a Christmas in August, because we get to open these beautiful presents. So draft strategies this year. You probably hear this from everybody out there. If you're out there looking at these fantasy gurus, running back, and I'm gonna agree with them. This year, it's running back. If you need to, in your first 3 rounds, get at least 2 solid running backs. The big names are there. It's going to fall off pretty quickly. There is some value there. We'll talk about that later on. But in most strategies, I'm going to encourage you to draft a running back. Get 2 the first 3 rounds. If the league is a 3 wide receiver league, then you need to prioritize a wide receiver. Get a wide receiver in there. Maybe switch that up a little bit. Get 2 wide receivers out of the first 3 rounds. But if it's a general 2 start, both running back, wide receiver with other flex options, then you don't need to press on the wide receiver because there's a lot of wide receivers out there, a lot. So, take your time. The wide receiver depth is there. Tight ends. If you can get Brock Bowers in the second or third, late second, early third, just take him. The dude's going to grab 150 balls. I've got no doubt in my mind. And if it's PPR, I mean, come on. He might be the best number 1 scorer in the league. So just keep that in mind. And they have tight end premium leagues, so that would even be a no-brainer. You'd probably outscore everybody by 50 points if you took Brock. Other than that, just wait. We can get very good options at tight end after the 10th round. So just wait. If you can't get Brock, just wait, in my opinion. And the quarterbacks, same thing there. If you're in a superflex league, prioritize a quarterback. There's 4 or 5 really good ones. And then after that, and everybody kind of knows the framework of the 4 or 5, you want a guy that can get you 40 touchdowns, however that can be. Running, combination of running, passing, that's what you're going to be looking for. So if you can't get one of those 4 or 5, again, the next 20 or so, really about the same. It's like 2 points a game max difference. So, hang around, wait, stack your team with all these other valuable players. And then, I hope you're playing defense and special teams. I really do, because it makes a tremendous difference in the game. And however many points you got it set up. But I mean, defense is fun to watch. And if you have the Texans defense, come on, man. Come on.
And Coach, real quick, Coach, real quick, let me say it real quick. So, So to that point about defense and special teams, right? So in my league with Texans Nico, right? We had somebody trade a first rounder for the defense, right? Like that is astronomically crazy and wild to trade a first rounder for a defense, right? So what would you say about that, man? Like would you be fired as a general manager in fantasy if somebody slid you a first rounder for a defense? Is that a no?
So is it the first round in the rookie draft this year, or was it a first round redraft?
I want to
say all the players on the boards.
Say next year, first round of next year.
Okay, so 2027 pick. Now 2027 is going to be one of the best dynasty drafts out there, they say. So it's a pretty valuable draft pick. And yes, I would make that move. The Texas defense is going to be bad, man. It's going to be bad, and it's going to be fun to watch. Fantasy football's got to be fun to watch. So have some fun with it. Jalen Noel's going to take a couple to the house, probably. I mean, it's going to be fun. And then finally, kickers. Just don't take the kicker. Just don't take him. No reason to take a kicker whatsoever. You can always drop whoever you want later on and go fill that spot with the kicker. Just don't take one. I mean, who cares? It doesn't matter. It is fun. They do decide the game. I think you should have the position. But come on. That's the one position you could add and drop every week, and it wouldn't make any difference. And if you get lost in the waiver wire thinking, oh, look at that kicker, don't. It's a kicker. No offense to kickers out there.
It's really Harley, man. You play fantasy?
Yeah, I do. I funny enough, I just I had my birthday this past weekend, August 9th. And
Happy birthday, man. Oh yeah, that's right.
yeah,
Happy
thank you,
birthday. That's
thank you,
right.
thank you.
Happy birthday,
And
man.
we were planning to do the fantasy football draft, and per usual, my friend group, everything happens last second, and so it was like, you know what, we'll just do it right now. And I'm like, oh, okay, on my birthday, great, because I don't have plans. Sure.
Yeah, forget me.
Why
Yeah.
not? And hey, to coach's credit, yeah, I play fantasy football, and I land with the number 10th pick, the last pick in our 10-man group. And but 10, you get the first pick right after, then you got to wait 4 centuries for your next pick, like. So to coach's credit, I'm going, well, whoever running backs are available, I'll let y'all know right now, I'm taking them back to back. Like, yeah, I did the Larry Bird. I went out there and said, who's finishing in second? Like, I'm calling my shot. I'm going after running backs. And, right back to back, Ashton Genty, Jeremiah Love. I was ecstatic. I'm
Not
like,
bad.
okay, I'll deal with.
I got something on Love later on, though.
Yeah. I mean, I'll deal with it. Like I enjoy fantasy football though. I really do. And I'm only in one league right now, so I am expecting another league to be popping up in just another short few days. So I love fantasy, man. I've
Maybe
grown to love
Clayton
this.
can get us a league together. Your panels, we get a little
Man.
league together. I'll set it up if you need me to.
Man, listen, bro.
It'd be fun. No money, just fun.
Look,
So
man.
let's get into some value picks, guys. Some value picks. This is where you win the draft. Value picks are where you win the draft, and there's always going to be values in the draft. You just got to find them. So quarterbacks, and you're going to notice something in all these picks here. I'm going to give you 2 for every category except for defense and kicker. All right, so let's start off the tight end. All right, so George Kittle is extremely undervalued. I know he's old. He's coming off an injury. They don't have anybody to throw the ball to there, and he's looking fine. He's going to play. And the guy's, when he's out there, he scores points. Like, it's just, I don't care how. There you go. I don't care how old he is. He's going to score some points. So there's value there because he's coming off the board late. So, keep an eye out for him. And then, Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz finished in the top 10 last year. Nobody thinks he's a good tight end, but he is. CJ looks for him. It's his bailout guy. So, there's value there. And like, he may go undrafted. So again, if you can't get the Bowers, there's 2 really good ones for you. Wide receiver. Shout out to our Galveston boy here, Texas A&M, Mike Evans. All right, look, he's going to get 10 touchdowns and 1,000 yards. And I know I just did 2 Niners, but those are the only 2 guys I think are going to catch the ball there this year. And Mike Evans is a beast. We can't forget about how bad Mike Evans was or is. He is 10 touchdowns, 1,000 yards guaranteed. And he's going late. He could be your wide receiver 1 at the end of the year. A couple running, and then one other wide receiver, and you're going to notice here again, Jalen Higgins. Higgins has been balling out in camp. Everybody's been talking about him. He finished well last year. He had 800 yards or something like that last year. And if you're in Dynasty, this is the guy you want. Nico's slowing down. Maybe 2 solid more years. When that contract's done, I don't think he's going to be on the team anymore. He'll be somewhere else, and it's going to be Higgins. So keep an eye on him. Running backs. I don't necessarily like this because this is in the division. Rashard Tootin. I don't know who the RB2 is there. Do y'all? I think it's Rodriguez. Maybe it doesn't matter.
Yeah, Rodriguez
because
probably so. Yeah.
This dude is going to run wild. And look, Jacksonville's a good team. I mean, I hate to say it, but they're a good team. So look out for him. And look, I mean, everything has been made for Monty to run the ball this year. And he's going to go off. Another 10 touchdown, 1,000-yard guy guaranteed. So Montgomery, David Montgomery. If you don't know who Monty is, David Montgomery. And then finally, your quarterbacks, CJ. CJ is being completely disrespected this year. If you're in a Superflex league, you can get this guy late. I suggest you go get him in Baker. Baker Mayfield is going to go off this year. He wants a contract, and he's got something about him that just makes it work out. I don't know what it is. So those are your value picks. Y'all got anything on that?
No, man. Listen, look, you called out George Kittle. That's my guy. That's my tight end. I got JT, Jonathan Taylor. So another interdivisional guy. Had to trade some capital for him. Just got his contract, so I feel really comfortable there. I a lot of that kind of thing going on. I mean, I feel like my league messes up the math, right? Because the stuff that normally I would think to do, and maybe it's me. I went into the draft. I said, all right, cool. Right. I got my plan. I'm gonna go QB, maybe second, third round, fourth, something like that. That's normally how people do, but I forget it's not a regular league, it's a keeper league. So guys already have players. So it's like they can take greater risks. That wasn't me. So then, like, I'm going in thinking, like, cool, I'm gonna get Josh Allen second round. Nope, first round. I'm like, excuse me, what? Like, so I'm having to trade assets, pick up pieces just to kind of stay in the mix. And thankfully, I think by projection, I'm like top three in the league right now. But I mean, there's one guy who just dropped like what friggin' multiple first rounders to get, man, who did they just trade for? Was it CD Lamb? I don't know, but like they trade multiple first. This man got a juggernaut team. So my league is not a good example. They messed up the math, but you sound very intelligent with what you're saying. Because that's where you win. You win on the waiver wire. You win on the sneaky moves, right? You win on the moves that look great later on down the line, not just
That's
right
right.
now, right?
That's
So
right.
I would throw in the ring, just peep out not just the RB1s, but like who are the RB2s, like you said about Jacksonville. Find the guys, not just JT, but who's behind him. Heck, if you don't have Mike Washington, go get him. Like if GT's not doing his thing, you got Washington right there. Like there's probably some good RB2s out there. Pick them up in case of injuries, stuff like that. I agree. I agree, Coach.
You got anything, Harley?
No, not much. I mean, gets like interdivisional people. Like, I mean, my I'm just looking at my team again. I'm like, man, crap. I didn't notice how many AFC South players I picked. Like, I got Carnell Tate, wide receiver, Titans, and I got Tyler Warren, tight end for the Colts, and then I went ahead and got Parker Washington from the
Oh, you
Jaguars,
traitor!
and then
You
I'm like,
traitor!
It's pretty
huh,
good players, though. I mean, fantasy football,
God.
you want to win. I mean,
yeah, man,
sometimes
I'm
Yeah.
you
here to
gotta
win.
you gotta get rid of the animosity and go and take those players. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
No,
and I
that's true.
mean,
They all
I
solid. I know.
hey,
It's
I got the Texans
hate, hate,
defense, and
hate,
I got
hate.
CJ Stroud down there. I took him literally with one of my last picks. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
Hold on.
maybe I will. Like I mean, there's some risks down there. Uh, double dipping in tight end because I like double dipping in tight end.
Oh, uh, Harley. I don't know if you catch that. You got like some static going on. I don't know.
Ooh, all right, take a look. All
Yeah,
right,
it
hello,
is. It.
hello.
Yeah, there you
Nope.
go. It was just occasional. There you go.
Interesting. Good to know.
Well, speaking of that risk, Harley, I'll jump in
Yeah,
here while we work on that.
go
Mike,
for it.
speaking
Go
of
for it.
those risks, my
Yeah.
final section for you guys is the do not draft guys. I mean, people talk about sleepers and all that stuff. I just got some guys that I'm going to avoid, and it's personal opinion with some facts. And let's just start off with the quarterbacks. Listen, I don't know if you play Madden. I played Madden forever. It's fantastic. Love the game. My 14-year-old son and I played together. It's a blast. Well, they've got Caleb out there, which is great. He's exciting. I get it. If you scramble out with this guy, he's jumping and tossing the ball like a ballerina. I don't like it. And maybe that's why I've got him on my
Oh,
do not draft list because I don't want any of
wow.
Caleb. I don't want any of Caleb. I'm not taking it.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Caleb Williams don't draft. Wow.
And he's
That's
like ranked really,
crazy.
really high. Now, look, I'm not saying you shouldn't draft him, but at his value now, it's not good.
Sure.
The guy's not been proven. He makes some plays, but he can't hit the consistently stuff. So just, fantasy football is about consistent play. And I don't know that
Mm,
Caleb has proven that to me yet. So stay away from that.
mm.
And then the other one is Jackson Dart at the quarterback position. I love Dart.
Oof.
He runs, he
Man,
gets
you
touchdowns,
are
but that's the problem. He runs and gets touchdowns.
ooh,
He's crazy. He's gonna hurt himself, and you're gonna be without a quarterback. So just
man,
keep that in mind.
you are kicking multiple hornets. That is oh wow.
I love Dart, man. I do, but he's not gonna
Man.
get you enough PT. I don't think he's gonna get hurt, and that's never good unless you have a backup quarterback and you can put him in there. But I'm gonna avoid those two guys. Running backs, CMC. I mean, 400 some touches last year. I love the guy. I get it. If he can finish the whole year, you did great. He's not going to finish the whole year. He's never done this before, back to back, ever.
Wait.
That many touches the next year, he gets hurt every time. So just avoid him. I mean, come back a year from now. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but I'm not drafting him.
I agree with you, Coach. Not to break you up there, but I do
Yeah,
agree
come on
with
in.
you on the CMC. I agree with you on CMC. Every time I draft him, he's hurt. The years I don't draft him, he's healthy. So damn it, whoever did draft him, congratulations.
He hurts people, man. So then the other one is Brandon Jacobs. That's his name, right? It's not Brandon Jacobs. Who's the guy in Green Bay?
He retired. Oh, Josh Jacobs?
Josh Jacobs. Thank you. Sorry. So many fantasy football players. They both played for Green Bay. But anyhow, listen, I don't know what's going on with his legal troubles. Kind of scary stuff. Just avoid it. I mean, you don't need to go there. He's really going way too high for the unknown, in my opinion. So just stay away from that. And then that being said, let's go to wide receiver Puka Nacua. I don't know what's going on there either. That's my wide
I
love him. Man. The kids, he's amazing. He's going to get hurt because he plays wild. And then the off the field stuff is still unresolved. I don't know.
He's probably going to miss game one. He's probably going to miss week one, which sucks because he's my wide receiver one.
Yeah. And I mean, when he's playing, dude, I mean, there's nobody better. But I'm just not, for me, it's too rich there for the undetermined. And then George Pickens, man, he's got to regress. Look, CD was out a few games. I like Pickens, but I mean, he cannot do what he did last year. He's just not going to be able to do it. I just don't think so. He may have a good year, but he's not going to do what he did last year. And he's right now, his draft position is what he did last year. And I'm gonna just stay away from that. I would rather take CD at the couple spots higher. I think CD's bouncing back. And then finally, two tight ends. Kyle Pitts, I love you, man. And you get one great game a year, and everybody thinks that you're worthy. But this is one game. It's like 60% of your production came out of one game last year. I'm not doing it. And I don't know if you saw Tua earlier. He may still be on.
No.
What? I mean, this dude why did you ever sign this guy? I never understood that in the first place. Penix is probably going to win that job hurt, in my opinion. And then back to Caleb jumping around. Don't draft Loveland. Don't do it. He's not the third tight end. He's not going to finish as the third tight end. I would rather have Warren over in the Colts over him. So those are my guys. What you guys think?
I think I'm gonna clip a lot of this. Listen, you pull up at Coach's house. Listen, I don't know what to say, man. I feel like you have I need a lot of dudes from Pickens to Loveland to Caleb, Josh Jacobs, a lot of dudes who I've seen drafted high. And I guess let me clarify. Maybe you're not saying don't touch them at all. Maybe some guys you are. But
you
mainly
can take them.
It's
too high right now. They're too high. There's players below them that have proven themselves. I mean, Matthew Stafford was the MVP. He's not. Caleb's going over.
Okay, so some of them you're saying don't touch it all. Others you're saying just if you can get them cheaper, it'll make more sense to get them cheaper.
I'm not taking Caleb at all, though.
That's great. That is crazy. Oh, that's gonna be the clip. Yes, sir, right there. Yep, he is not touching Caleb Williams. He got to prove it. I'll throw this in on Caleb in the real world sense. I mean, the man finished below 60% passing completion accuracy, so that is something that you have to monitor. He is somewhat of is he a turnover machine? I don't know, but I just think that maybe sometimes he does try to pull too much college level stuff, and it's not like, hey, play within structure, do your job right, stay on schedule, that kind of thing. So we'll see. The NFL and defensive coordinators, they're paid to make adjustments. So we shall see which Caleb Williams we're going to get. Are we going to get Iceman or we're going to get Iceman, where you're just ice cold and can't do much else?
Let's not forget the Madden curse. The Madden curse thing, we can't forget about that. I mean, it's still kind of a thing.
And I wish I was ahead of this because, we could have just called this segment.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Well, that could have just been the later. And these are the you're not that guy picks. So
I like that.
Yeah, Yeah, but no, man, coach. Well, hey, man, I appreciate your knowledge and your wisdom. I hope. And look, this is just a start. Like, coach had to calm me down. He said, "Hey, man, listen, like the leagues aren't starting yet. Let's, baby food real quick. They will come up with the heavy stuff later." So I'm looking forward to that. Again, appreciate everyone for coming. We're a little bit over an hour right now, so we're gonna kind of wrap this up. Any kind of final thoughts as we go into? Oh, let me not forget. I'd be remiss. Texans Raiders coming up at home again, Reliance Stadium. Harley, I'm gonna start with you, man. Any predictions? Anybody who you think should play, and if so, for how long?
Yeah, I mean, usually, what would we get last year? A drive or two drives. I mean, something like that.
Mhm.
Like, I think that's what we saw last year. Two drives. That's what I'm expecting again. I don't see them changing what they did before.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm curious, what's number seven going to look like? For all the fans that weren't making it out to training camp, how are you going to see it in preseason? This is your first eyes in them in game action. So, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see what the Texans could do. Definitely, I would expect the defense to play their ass off because I could
Yeah.
only imagine what D'Amico and especially the special teams. I know I said especially special teams, but
Mhm.
Frank Ross had to been livid with the number of penalties that were on special teams this previous game. I would hate to be in that room. My goodness. But I expect the defense to ball out. I really do. Um, and I did get to catch Kirk Cousins and Fernando Mendoza
Mhm. Yeah.
and Clint Kubiak. I'm a big fan. If anybody knows me from my YouTube channel, big fan of the Kubiak scheme. Big fan of the guys that derive from the Kubiak tree. I like to call it the Kubiak tree. Shout out to him. Shout out to Mike Shanahan as well. I respect you, but Kubiak tree. Um, I'm interested to see what D'Amico does, or I guess Matt Burke, and how this defense does kind of play with that first, second drive of the Raiders ones as we get to see Kirk Cousins and them kind of do their thing. But yeah, I'm excited for the game, and I think Texans are going to get away with a W actually at the end of this game. I really do. My only question, I have one question to leave off fantasy football question, but I have one last question for you, Coach. ADP is rising for Stephon Diggs. How are you feeling with him, and now him being signed with Washington? Where are you feeling Stephon Diggs because he's currently undrafted right now in my league?
Well, the value is great, right? I mean, at that point, he's worth a stash, just no matter what. Um, Terry McLaurin's going to ball out again this year. He's made it clear. I think that's going to happen. This only helps his production, I think, in my opinion, because you're not, you're going to have to account for Diggs. He's still got it. He can still run routes. I don't think he's going to be very productive. There's not going to be a whole lot of passing yards that go on there. JD's great and all, but he's not your typical 4,000 yard guy. He's not going to throw 30 touchdowns. So, you know, take it for what it is. I do expect Chig to do well, the tight end that came from Tennessee. I think he'll play well in that system and be the red zone guy. There's some question marks at running back there. So, as far as the Texans and Oakland go, uh, the offensive line, they started the game. We got to see a little bit. I wasn't impressed. Um, they didn't do bad, but I wasn't impressed.
Mhm.
So everybody's going to be back there. Monty's going to be running. So I'm curious what that run game is going to look like. I expect
Mhm.
CJ to go something like 4 for 7, 77 yards and a touchdown.
Mhm.
Um, and I want to see what the running game. Most of that yardage is going to be off of play action, I bet. And the defense will ball out. So I'm
Mhm.
looking forward to it, though. Oakland's going to have some eyes on the field. They've got a lot of work to do,
Whoa,
so
whoa,
I'll be
whoa,
watching a
whoa,
lot of their
hold
stuff.
on, coach. Hold on.
Oh,
We don't want
Vegas,
to
my
get.
bad.
I'm about to say we don't want to. Hey, listen, we don't want to do that. We've kicked enough Hornets nests today.
My bad.
Vegas, Mr. Raiders. I know though. I know Oakland Raiders. They just go together. I know it's a travesty. It's like watching Dwayne Wade in a Cavaliers jersey. Just two things that just shouldn't go together. So yeah, or like the Dallas Cowboys in the championship. They just don't. They don't mix right now. Not in the recent era. Been 30 years. That's right. I'm gonna say it. No, man. So look, as far as I go, look, I'm looking forward to the starters. Like Harley said, I think the defense is going to be amped up. I think they're going to want to knock some of the rust off in live action. No, I don't. I don't want them playing a whole half. Absolutely not. I think a drive or two. I think depending on how elite the first drive looks, that might even buy you an early night off, right? Like if you come out and you pick six, okay, cool, y'all, we good. I don't need to see nothing else. We sure. Let the twos and threes get back out there and redeem themselves from last week. But if the first drive was a bit meh, come out the second drive, prove your point, leave. Offense, y'all don't get off that easy. I think for me, I want to see at least two drives, if not three, because I want to see CJ Stroud in live action second year in this offense. I don't care if it's twos and threes. I need to see him out there doing something, right? Like I need to see him work through, like, okay, for example, the interception issue in camp, right? Like some try to downplay it and say, like, oh, well, it's camp and you wanted to be mistakes here. And and I've said that. But I mean, like, I want to make sure, like, okay, like, are we progressing in this offense? How's the pre-snap? How's the operation? The penalties, all those things that Harley said about special teams, like all those things kind of taken care of. What's the time from the huddle to the line of scrimmage, that kind of thing. I am looking forward to seeing how we run the football. So I want to truly see against a lesser team what you guys look like. If we march down the field, heck, a 2 minute drive, score seven, something like that, maybe. But even then, I think even if they score a touchdown on the first drive, I want the offense out there at least one more time. Let me see, and then get off the field, stay healthy. That's kind of what I want to see. Um, so there you go. But football's back, gentlemen. We made
Yeah,
it.
man.
We've made it through this this desert. We're inching closer. We have further roster battles in the future, further analysis points to talk about, but I'm definitely excited. Gentlemen, I've liked this. I've enjoyed this very much. We got to do this again. Coach, I know we're going to be recurring this fantasy. Harley, man, static, no static. I've loved having you on, and, got
Thank
to
you.
do this again. Got to do this again, man. Kind of have you being a frequent flyer here. Outside of that, again, my name's Clayton Anderson here. I cover the Texans for Torah Times of the Fansided Network, host of the We Want Houston podcast. As you can see, had to rebrand a bit. Shout out to Clutch Visuals for the update. So I'm still updating intros, outros, stuff like that. Shout out Coach for coming in clutch with the fantasy football knowledge, just dropping it on us, man, his wisdom. Shout out Harley again. This was a short turnaround. I'm pretty sure coming off his birthday, he had a lot going on, but hey, he's been there. As a matter of fact, shout out him and Ruben, like clutching up, going to training camp, me being able to go up to the front of the line with them, and that kind of thing. So shout out those guys. Shout out the H-Town community. Shout out you guys, traffic and all. We back. We did it. We're going to get there. And, with that being said, go Texans. It's the 25th anniversary. Gentlemen, looking forward to it. Excited to see you guys. Catch you guys down the road. Have a good night, H-Town. Go Astros.
Peace, fellas.